would I jump in and follow? I don't know. If price hypes enough, maybe. But I think I'll just keep on the sideline, because when these things flip the other way, it's mad.
But at the same time, you're fool if you think an ex-Only fan and an ex-mid-female rapper could execute such a complex infrastructure. Like, you are stupid.
The problem is, if you pick the wrong VC-backed projects, you will become exitless.
But that Monero will probably also start doing well. But we all know why privacy coins pump.
When privacy tokens are taking turns to pump and not pumping together, that's not really a good sign for me that we should buy. It is actually an exit signal. I've said it before. You're laughing, Rick. I said it before.
The content presented in this podcast is intended for informational and educational purposes only. It should not be considered as financial advice, and listeners are encouraged to conduct their own research or consult with a qualified professional before making any investment decisions.
Crypto flip.
In this week's episode, we'll be exploring why A16Z has raised over $2 billion to fund the future of crypto, AI, and TradFi. We'll also be diving into what it means for Iggy Azalea and her mother token as she is being sued in federal courts, and what that means for everybody that invested in that token. And Michael Saylor, the guy who once said he would never sell crypto, has decided to sell some of his Bitcoin. So we'll be exploring what that actually means. And is that good news, bad news? Well, does it not even matter? And finally, is there a secret alt season that's happening before our very eyes? The one privacy token that you've missed that has pumped over 100% in the last 30 days. We'll be exploring all of that and a lot more. But before we get into any of that, you know what we have to do? We have to connect. We have to indulge. We have to listen to some of our favorite people in the space, our crypto degens, and listen to some crypto confessions and give our opinions on that. So let's get into it. I had a mentor who got me into crypto. I had been to his house, met his kids and family, and even went to a few of his birthday parties, strictly for family. You could say we were close. This was until I got a call at 4 a.m. from him crying that he lost his $1 to $2 million account and had nothing. He then proceeded to ask me for 10 ETH, and that he promised on his kids' lives that I would get it back within a month or two. It's been over a year, and I haven't talked to him since then. Sad to see someone go from a best friend who you were very close with to an enemy. What do you, man, make of that?
Do you know what's wild about this?
What's that?
Donnie said he had a crypto mentor. What's a crypto mentor, bro? Unless it's Vitalik or Satoshi himself, how can you let a man mentor you in crypto? Hey, whatever, cool. Let's put that aside. Bro, it sounds like he was playing the long game. It sounds like every month you knew this guy, he was just calculating an extra ETH that he should ask you for, that he knew that you just give him. But I mean, it sounds like man just ran into hard time. He probably got liquidated. He's probably gambling on Trub token, lost his money, and then he's just like, who can I ask? And then he ain't got the peas, so he's not even gonna hit you back up, man. That ETH is long gone, bro. I think what would be real peak is, you know them stories where someone borrows some money from you and then they go on holidays. You see them renting cars, you see them buying the finest meals. If it's like that, then he violated. If you're saying none of that, then he's just brass, bro.
Listen, yeah, no, I hear you on the mental part. I think he probably used the wrong phrase. He's probably trying to say someone that, because obviously you know how it is in crypto. It's the Wild Wild West. Like, you literally, one wrong click, you could lose all your funds. So in a way, you know what I mean? Probably wasn't really his mentor, but someone that brought him into crypto, showed him the ropes a little bit. Well, it doesn't mean he's a mentor. I think it's the wrong word. I think a mentor is a bit of a strong word, like you said, Rick. But that's not the story. I mean, just because we went to someone's birthday party does not mean you're your best friends, fam. Like, and I think it's a situation where like you probably overrated that relationship a little bit. I mean,
but he met his family though, man.
Yeah, it don't matter. But it don't matter. Just because I met your family and I bought present for your kids, don't mean I'm gonna loan you 10 ETH. Like, Obviously, and this is back in the day. This wasn't even recent. This is probably when ETH was probably 1,500 or something. Now we're now what ETH is hovering around 2K ish. So what? That's 20 racks. That's enough to throw several birthday parties. You know what I mean? So it's like I feel sufficient. Like he probably finessed my man, and then he had no intention of giving it back. But the fact that he swore his kid's life is a bit scummy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie about that. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's a bit scummy. Like if you're gonna do a move, do a move. Don't lie to your kids. Don't bring the kids in, fam. Leave the kids alone, fam. But other than that, I mean, you all have yourself to blame, bro. I mean, if you're sending money out of your wallet, it has to either be for transactional cost or for investment. You should never, even those investments, I'll question it because I've sent money to a certain wallet before and then I got nothing in return. Trust me. Like, no matter how savvy you are, we all made mistakes. I've been my fair share of mistakes, so yeah,
So
this is you gotta bite this bullet. You gotta bite this bullet. It's gone.
So
It's gone.
what you're saying is you wouldn't help your boy out if it was on his last legs. And
Wait. I'll send you cash. Why am I sending you crypto? Like that makes no sense.
because
like-
it needs to be off the books, bro.
Well, okay, listen, yeah. If he needs shit off the books, then you're definitely not broke, bro. Because like, you listen, yeah, you're definitely not that hand to mouth. Like, you're not on your last penny. You're good. You're good. If you're worried about privacy, you're good, fam. Because you're about to be evicted from your yard, fam. You're 3 months behind your mortgage, and you're worried about privacy, fam.
Yeah, this one is you know what I've come to understand over the years. You never really know who your friends are until money gets involved, because everything can seem rosy, everything can seem good and fine, but when money gets involved, you'll see who the real ones are and who the real ones aren't. Even when it comes to family, and you might have looked at this guy and thought, you know what, this is not about mentor. We're not even boys. This guy's like family, man. But even with blood family, you can lend money and trust me, you become strangers sooner than you even realize. And I've learned that myself, and I'm sure a lot of people have learned that themselves as well. So it's a hard lesson, but $20,000, I mean, it might not have been worth that at the time that you sent it. I'm not sure when you sent in this confession, but the equivalent today of $20,000, even if it was 1K back then, that's 10K. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of trust. And maybe the swearing of the kids thing twanged you a little bit and you thought, right, okay, cool. But yeah, let's just put it this way. I don't think you'd be making that mistake anytime soon. And I just hope the mentorship was worth it. I'm not sure if he was showing you how to long and short or what he was trying to teach you, but let's believe he's on to the next one now, but it is what it is. With that being said, welcome back to the Crypto Flip Podcast. I am your host, Harris King, and I am joined once again with my co-hosts, Ricardo and Dedi. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're listening on audio platforms, don't forget to leave a review because it really helps us create new episodes. Now, if it's your first time listening, we like to delve into the markets, look for new edges, analyze the stories that help you become a better trader and or investor. So make sure you keep it locked here because you won't get this analysis anywhere else. So the first thing I want us to have a look at is A16Z. Now, if you've not been in the startup scene before, if you've not even been in crypto before, who are A16Z? It's Andreessen Horowitz, which is a VC firm, and they invest in the future, basically. So the products of tomorrow that you'll be using, they invest in them today for a profit. One of the things they invest in is crypto, and they have a specific crypto fund they've recently raised from investors, and that is worth $2.2 billion. And I think that's quite significant in the amount, because it's not chump change. And I think it goes to show that even in this environment, there's still an appetite for the future of crypto, which means that altcoins aren't necessarily dead. So what can the future of altcoins look like? What does smart money think the future of altcoins look like? Well, let's have a look at what they are investing in. They're looking for projects linking crypto with AI and traditional finance. So the intersection of the two or three of those things are where they believe that the future is going. So they may be looking at agentic workflows. They may be looking at, wallets that have AI capabilities. There's so many different possibilities, but now that we know where smart money is going, what do you think? Do you think this is do you think this is the future? Do you think this is smart? Do you think they're too late? Or do you think there's something that we're not getting at first glance?
You see, when it comes to VCs and coming into crypto and invested in crypto projects, what gets me is they always start by saying, yeah, we're going to invest X amount of million into this project. Brilliant. And then they normally end with, okay, now we're going to raise ICO. And as part of raising that ICO, let's say they put in 1 million. Let's say they put in 10 million, at like a 50 million valuation, or 20%. And then 5 of that 10 million is going to go to pumping and making the ICO look like the most epic thing ever. Then IPO comes around. Let's say they raise 100 million in the IPO, which isn't crazy. They then said, brilliant, we want our 20% back. So the 10 mil turns into 20 in like a matter of months. This is fairly common. I don't know, when it comes to them being ahead of the curve, I feel like the things that they're invested in are the things that have been around for a while. Like everyone is investing in AI right now, and generally a lot of VCs are looking at companies that they've always been looking for crypto companies that are bridging the gap between like traditional finance and crypto. Like that's the whole thing. That's why we had the whole DeFi bubble. That's why so many companies like did well during the IPO phase. That's why even like recent runners like Hype, who famously rejected VC funding, are doing well. They're basically bridging the gap between TradFi and DeFi very slowly. So I definitely see the appeal. If they're investing in a project, it just gets my heebie-jeebies up. Like, I'm trying to find like a list of projects that they invested in, and yeah, bro, I just think they made back most of their money through the IPO when the project IPO'd, or they have
ICO.
Sorry, ICO, or they have like they have a whole different strategy that they're running. But do I trust it? Nah, but I mean, it's smart money in it, and these guys are dedicated to doing this, and they do it all day. So would I jump in and follow? I don't know. If price hype's enough, maybe. But I think I'll just keep on the sideline, because when these things flip the other way, it's mad quick.
I definitely don't think it's too late. I mean, this is to invest in AI and traditional finance. I mean, TradFi has always been here, and then they added more money. I mean, the best time to invest is when nobody's talking about it. So, I mean, even though we've had a recent rally and then things are obviously, looking a bit healthier or showing signs of life recently with some movements and some minor volatility. At the same time, I still feel like it's not the talk of the town anymore. It's AI. It's basically, that's literally been the focal point of the last, I think, 3 months, in my opinion. Last time crypto was a topic was in January, literally. Like even Trump is never talking about crypto anymore. So when you get a fund doing this, they're laying down a foundation for the next cycle, I guess. And then I think they're making a good bet in AI. I think that's more likely to. I mean, regardless, because they're gonna make the money regardless. Like Ricardo said, because then when VC invest, they make sure they buy the lowest value possible, so that they can at least say they made 100% or 200%, and everything else is kind of like extra bonus, just gravy on top. But TradFi, I mean, it's speculation of. I think when you said something about how when obviously when they're talking pump, they pump, or when the VCs decide to exit, you don't want to be anywhere near that token. I think TradFi will be the place where I don't think anyone should be touching, because TradFi has always made sense. It makes sense on paper, but within time, it's trying to kind of lay it out and build it, and then because of how clunky crypto can be, and then you can easily lose things, and then not having that seamless infrastructure kind of makes it harder to onboard people. But let's see what this fund can do. Crypto Fund 5. Let's see what it would do. They're going to invest in stablecoin, it's called tokenized RWA, prediction market, on-chain lending, crypto infrastructure for AI agents, and other TradFi stuff, moving assets on-chain. Let's see where it goes. Let's see where it goes. I think AI part of the fund will do well with TradFi. We'll see how it goes.
I think AI will be linked for sure. I mean, we've obviously seen some AI developments when it comes to AI and crypto. So there's trading bots, there's specific, AI projects as well. But I think we're only just scratching the surface for a number of different reasons. One, some of the tools just aren't being used on a wide scale basis amongst all of the crypto users at the moment. And the other thing is we're still very early in AI. There's a lot of space left to grow when it comes to AI, from infrastructure to obviously the models to AGI, which we haven't touched yet. So there's a lot of growth, and I wouldn't think of it in the sense of, we've kind of seen AI and crypto, and now that's kind of done. What's the next thing? I think there's a lot more space left to grow there. So there'll be a subsection of AI. I think that'll be the next thing to keep a close eye on, and I think it will reflect the wider AI developments that happen. So, yeah, if you're not keeping an eye on AI, then I think you're gonna definitely get left behind. But I think the other thing to keep an eye on is keeping an eye on the space that VCs are investing in is important, because you get a broader sense of which products are going to get funded, and you need funding to do anything in crypto. Now, obviously, you can do self-funding through ICOs and all this other stuff, but most of the serious projects get funding from VCs and stuff like that. The problem is, if you pick the wrong VC-backed project, you will become exit liquidity. So basically, as Rick was saying, they get preferential treatment and preferential. They basically invest early, and they're the first ones to get heavy discounts, so that when the later rounds come around, and when it goes public, you're investing higher, and then they can potentially dump on you. So it's important to know what the structure is, how tokens are locked, and things of that nature. And I think that's another one of the reasons why alts haven't really been doing well this cycle, is because of people getting sick of being dumped on by VCs. It was less of an issue initially, but it became a lot more prevalent. And yeah, obviously people move to meme coins. Meme coins, you don't need VCs. So I think if that stops happening, then all coins could see a bounce back, and it could be a space to look at. And something else to look at is Iggy Azalea, because she is being sued in federal court in the United States of America. Why? Well, her token, Mother, if you remember, was a meme coin which promised a lot of real-world utility. And I think it's down 99.5%, if I'm not mistaken, from its all-time high. And I believe people are suing her to say that all of this promised real-world utility didn't actually come to fruition, and it was just a bag of hot air. So I guess there's two questions. What should you do if you are a current bag holder of Mother? And how can you avoid investing in the Mother of tomorrow, the next Mother?
First of all, I'm very happy that a celebrity is being held responsible for the damage that their token has done. Who remembers that Hark Tour thing? Hark Tour spit on that thing. The graph went mad. What happened to her, bruv? I thought she was getting like a class action anyway. Someone needs to be held accountable.
I think she beat her case.
She bust case.
She wasn't really involved. She was just like the face of it. So I think she bust case.
So somebody needs to be prosecuted. Anyway, hold tight, Iggy Azalea. the token was never going to have any utility because she never planned for it to have. Like, what could the utility be? Is it going to get you like access to her concerts? If that's the case, cool. Didn't happen that way. And like, how do you even monitor that, bro? Like, oh, I've got one mother, so what? Do I get to come backstage? Like, I think that was never really properly thought about, bro. Like, say what you want about Trump here, but Trump released the token and he said, yo, listen, there's going to be some utility from this. And you know what he did? He made a dinner, bro. He said, if you're a top 200 holder, you get to come and have dinner with the Mandem, with the Martin Mar-Lago, with the Mandem. Yeah, and that happened. Like, all she had to do was tie one utility to this thing and it would have been a wrap. She could have said, listen, if you have Mother, you get to join my private Telegram chat. She didn't even say that. So, bro, like, I just want everyone else to be hit the same way that she got hit. Like, I don't remember what happened with the Yay coin, but I want the similar thing to happen. I want it everywhere, bro. Like, all these celebrities that endorse these things that said you're gonna get X and you got nothing. Yeah, man, them man need to be held accountable. How do you prevent yourself from getting into the mother of tomorrow? Just don't jump on celebrity launches. Just don't. Like, also, I think if you did your due diligence on that coin and you look at the bubble maps, it was like 80% of the token, the 80% of the tokens were allocated to like one or two wallets, which is obviously fishy. And I think she at the time when she launched said, I don't own most of the project or some BS like that. So like, who did, bro? Like, there was bare red flags. If you looked at this for like 15 minutes before you jumped in, you'd have seen that there was bare red flags. But I get it. The hype got you, man. The hype made it seem like it was the best thing ever. But hey, if you want to skip this the next time, just, yeah. Wait, it's crazy.
Listen, yeah, did you man know, yeah? Like, this girl she's had bare careers, fam. So I'm just gonna go through quickly, right? So she used to be a rapper.
Man said she was a hoe. Don't go
Not even. What she does in the privacy of her life is a problem. I don't really care about that, but just gonna give a rundown of how she's made her money in it. Yeah. So she used to be a rapper, and for rapping, she went into OnlyFans. Did OnlyFans for like 3 years. Then she quit. And I think she used that proceed to build an online casino called Motherland. And she claims that Mother token will be powering her online casino called Motherland. And obviously, none of this stuff, once he started being traded and everything, it was actually using USDT. It wasn't using, like, they weren't doing their own settlement. Like, there was no mention of, like, everything that they promised, nothing came to fruition. But at the same time, you're a fool if you think an ex-OnlyFan and an ex-mid female rapper could execute such a complex infrastructure. Like, you are stupid. If you know anything about development, if you know anything about just engineering, just common sense, they can tell you she could hire engineers from China, and then still the odds will be stacked against her, literally. So for you to believe the gas that she put out there that saying that Mother has a love utility and everything here was all air, fam. So literally, she saw, like I said, rapper, OnlyFans, and now online, what's called mafia, fam. That's what she's doing. So if you thought she was gonna bail you out of your poverty and she's gonna spring you out using the Mother token, you are a fool, fam. Because this thing she was just another celebrity playing into the hype of meme coins. And that's all it was. If you thought like you were using this sophisticated AI platform, coding in C++ and Haskell, or building this next gen platform, whatever, she wasn't doing that, bro. She was just stringing you man along. And then she sold her bag at the top. And then now she's cashed that and then reinvested that money into her casino. So I hope she gets what she deserved coming for her. So, I mean, it was clear, like, no judge can look at this and be like, yeah, she had every intention of actually execute what she said. So everything she promised was always a lie. She should be fined, not 2 mil, not 5 mil. She should be fined 75 mil minimum fine. Only by doing such a hefty fine will people deter from doing this. Because I don't think she made 75 mil from the mother tram for the mother thing. She probably made like 50 or 40, whatever. So she needed to be firing. They needed to find these people double the amount that they stole. So because basically this was broad daylight robbery. It wasn't no slow rock. Wasn't no like a slow burn or whatever. This was quick and easier. I didn't have to look into the timeline, but I know it probably didn't last 100 days. It was a quick. It was always gonna be. She gonna pump the thing, hype it up, and just zoop, and that's what she did.
Bro, let's just add some more color. Like, I think for everyone in the UK that don't know what a class action lawsuit is, correct me if I'm wrong, but class action is like a group of people banded together and they said, yo, listen, nah, she needs to go down. We need to do something about this. So this is like the lame public have said, rah, you know what? I lost hundreds, thousands, whatever in mother, and she needs to pay. That's crazy, bro. Like, you must have some real haters. And you know how you know when things are going to go wrong from the beginning? Like, I remember being on TikTok, being on Instagram, and she's on all these streams with Neon, who's like another crypto dude. And, bro, it's just... The Clippers did their job, bro. Exactly. Neon's a huge streamer. And the Clippers did their job, bro. She was just moving suspect. Like, you know when someone's like... Bro, she was moving like a worker, bro. She was moving like a Jezebel on stream. It was crazy. And I was just like, rah, all of this just so that people will funnel back into mother or just promote whatever you're promoting. It's wild, bro.
If you bought off that promotion, you're a fool. There's no saving you, fam. Like, you deserve to be asteroid, fam, because what?
Yeah.
Bro, this is, bro, dude. Have you ever seen the talent go online and say, "Yo, buy ETH"? I'm about to pump it to the stratosphere. Buy ETH.
Nah, but saying that though, I've seen Vitalik do some questionable things on stream online.
But because he's a cause, bro. He's awkward, fam. That's what it is. He's a geek, fam. He's awkward.
I hear it.
You know what I mean? Yo, Iggy was I had started on bumping with Neon on the street, fam. Like, what you do?
To be honest, yeah, I reckon Vitalik going on camera and being a weirdo is more positive for ETH than Iggy going and twerking for that the positive benefit.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's true. Like, I'll add a little bit more color as well. So basically, I remember I had to just double check, but yeah, I remember when it was announced that she purchased or part purchased a telecom service. And it was originally intended to allow users to purchase mobile phones and monthly plans using the Mother token. Additionally, we obviously mentioned the Motherland Casino as well. And there was merchandise and a marketplace, which were planned, and both of these failed to launch or didn't have any meaningful rely on the token. So there was a lot of gas, there was a lot of hype, there was a lot of plans, as there often is in crypto, to be honest. She's not the first and she won't be the last. But when you have someone with the track record or the lack thereof of Iggy Azalea, I think you have to ask yourself some questions. You know, how did I get here? How did I end up with a bag of mother sitting in my wallet? Now, if you're just trading it like a day trade, sure. But like, if you've invested in it and you said, you know what, this is my ticket out of the hood. This is how we're going to make it out, man. I think you need to look in that mirror for a little bit longer when you wake up tomorrow morning, because something went wrong like a few weeks ago, and you need to correct that. And something else that may need to be corrected is our view on Michael Saylor, because guess what? The man who said, and I quote, "Sell a kidney if you must, but keep the Bitcoin. Never sell your Bitcoin. We can buy more Bitcoin than they can sell. The rules of Bitcoin: number 1, buy Bitcoin. Number 2, don't sell the Bitcoin." The man who said all of that recently just announced that he will be selling some Bitcoin in order to fund some dividends for his company strategy. So is it my day or is it exit strategy? What do you guys think?
This guy, bro, micro strategy or exit strategy. I like that. I like that. Do you know what? Yeah. Do you know what? Yeah, I cannot even be mad at Michael Saylor because at the end of the day, bro, Strategy is a company. The company has to pay dividends to its shareholders. And so if the company doesn't have money, like from profits, then bro, you gotta do what you gotta do. What is the obvious part here is my man still believes in Bitcoin heavily because he said he's not selling his personal supply, bro. Because as a person, he's got something like 17,000 Bitcoin. Yeah, 17,732 BTC. So guy himself is balling, but as strategy, they have way more. Way more. So as strategy, he has to do what his shareholders want him to do. And, I think he raised something like $11.8 billion to buy crypto. And the position's in profit because I think we discussed a little while ago that his average buy price was something like 50 odd thousand dollars per Bitcoin. But I think the strange part is, yeah, he's going to sell Bitcoin to pay dividends. I don't know how often they pay dividends, but let's go with the assumption that it's once a year. In a proper bear market when things are not doing like, we had a little bounce back on BTC a little while ago. BTC is now at like 81K. But in the depths of the market, the true depths of the market, yeah, this guy's going to have to sell Bitcoin for every dividend call because what else is he going to do? Like, I think to be honest, I think that was a strategy that he agreed with the investors from the beginning because when you really think about it, all the company does is take money and buy Bitcoin. So how was it ever going to pay a dividends if it didn't sell that Bitcoin? Maybe he was planning to stake the Bitcoin. I don't know. That would be a smarter move. But yeah, at the end of the day, bro, he has to do what his shareholders need him to do. Another wild thing though is like, if this guy has come out and said like, I need to sell Bitcoin, then it must be dire, bro. Like, it must be dire. I don't know what his personal net worth is. Well, with 17,000 Bitcoin, it must be super high. But yeah, like, it must be real dire for him to say, I need to go away and sell some of this crypto so that I can pay my dividend, so I can make the dividends call. But yeah, I don't think it's bad for crypto. I think it just comes across mad because this guy said he would never sell crypto in his whole life. Maybe he thought he would raise another round of debt. People looked at the market. Bitcoin is at 70 odd. They're like, nah, bruv, I ain't giving you no more money. You better pay my dividends. Probably that's what happened.
That's exactly what happened, bro. That's exactly what happened. Because this is a significant shift in. I mean, let's be clear though. I mean, from what I see, from what I read online, and for what I can obviously common sense is sensing, he's not really abandoning his thesis of Bitcoin forever, net accumulator BTC. He's not doing that. He's just selling some BTC to cover. He hasn't even sold it yet. He's announcing that he's going to do it. So he plans to sell a little bit to fund his dividend payment. And when I was down, and that got me thinking while you were talking, Rick, I looked into his his company ownership structure. And he doesn't own, like, even though he has like 37 or to 45% voting power, he only owns about 10% of his 10% of his shares. So he can be voted out in terms of, you know what I mean? Like, if he doesn't want to if he refuses to sell BTC, his shareholders can essentially force him to do so. So he kind of has no choice. But let's talk about what actually got him here in the first place. What got him here? Yes, he's accumulated a ton of BTC, and good for him. I think it would be pretty cool to have 1 billion BTC on your books. That's freaking awesome. But at the end of the day, you kept borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and borrowing to the point where, like, now no one's willing to give you more funds to buy more BTC. So directly, and you don't want to sell, and there's no free cash left for you to raise against, and you're already over leveraged, so you're now forced to sell. I think I've always believed there was gonna point where, like, he's gonna sell, and I know for a fact he has been selling. Maybe not selling a strategy BTC, but if he has any personal stash himself, I'm sure he's selling because he was smart enough not to dox himself. I'm like, hey, here, everyone, in case you want to wonder, here's my Bitcoin wallet address. He's not stupid. He's not freaking some of these Mincon owners. So I think personally, he was always going to sell. If he hasn't been selling personally, he's now finally publicly said he's going to sell some to fund his dividend. What's called payout. So it really isn't a surprise, and it doesn't really make me look at him like, oh yeah, I hate Michael Saylor, blah blah. whatever he sells is not enough for you to be like, wow, Marcus said like he crashed the market or he forced people to be liquidated. I think whatever he sell will be nothing compared to what real whales will sell when they really want to exit the space and get some money out. So, yeah, I still think he's still. I mean, that's the whole point of his fund, isn't it? To literally be a Bitcoin holder, use that as a as treasury, and in this case, kind of use that as a hedge against inflation, which works to a certain point where, like, unless you get to the point that you can no longer raise funds, and then there's a margin call on your BTC purchases. I mean, what's the liquidation price? He claims doesn't have a liquidation price. I think we've asked this question before. What's your liquidation price? I don't think he said he has a liquidation, but I think he said on I need to look into it. But I think he said if BTC ever hit like 5,000 or 6,000 or something, that's when he'll probably be forced to liquidate. So I think that's just him throwing out numbers. I don't think he has a liquidation price because he's smart enough to buy spot. Imagine if he was buying. I think people that didn't really need to worry about liquidation price, people that actually buy the features of traded leverage, that obviously over leverage to their neck. Those are people that really need to worry about liquidation. I think Michael Saylor sleeps well at night knowing he's leveraged in terms of obviously raising debt against his company, but at the same time, he's not out here trading on the futures market and being 10x over leverage to his neck. So yeah, it would have been, if that's all the case, it would have been long liquidated, long time ago.
Yeah, so a bit more context. I think the amount that he would have to sell if he does indeed sell is, it would be 0.18% of their Bitcoin stash, to issue STRC shares, and then I think that will enable them to meet their commitments as far as the dividend is concerned, and I don't think that will prohibit them from raising further capital if they needed to do so to purchase more Bitcoin down the line. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. I think.
Should it be a Harris? Just give you a quick context. That 0.18% is basically 1,472 BTC. So it's not really a lot.
Yeah, especially the broader context of that. How much is that in dollar amount?
120 mil.
Yeah. 120 mil for Bitcoin isn't anything. They wouldn't even have to sell that OTC, even if they sold it on the books. It would exactly cause any dent in the market. Yeah, so
it's never $1 billion in selling pressure. So yeah, light.
Yeah, it's not much. So yeah, I mean, it sounds, when I first heard it, I was like, raw, this is what he's doing. But then when I actually read into the story and really understood what was happening, and the mechanics of everything, it's not as bad as it sounds at first. And I don't think investors or traders should actually worry. But the thing that
wait, I got one more thing to add there. I do want to add this one more point before we move on. However, even though I don't think this changes anything about what he's doing and then what he's gonna do, whatever, blah blah blah, this does raise a question though. If you're willing to sell now, which means in the future you're also gonna be willing to sell again. So I'm not saying he's gonna get liquidated or whatever, but I feel if he gets a situation where like Bitcoin is really in a crunch, well now $49,000 or even lower. Let's say it's lower.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like he's gonna have to do this for every dividend call. I don't know how often they are, but if it's once a year, some companies do dividends every quarter. Is it still gonna do a sell every quarter of 0.18%? I'm not gonna lie, them percentages add up, bro. And I know you were saying like the order books are deep and they have liquidity, but 100 mil on an exchange is going to wipe the price down on that exchange, which will wipe the price down across the board as all the statistical arbitrage bots decide, oh, these guys are undervalued, I'm going to short. Yeah, the orders will get eaten up, but it'll get eaten up heavily. Like, I can only imagine like looking at something with deep liquidity like Binance's order book. If they had 112 mil, bro, we're seeing the price tumble at least 3 to 4% for Bitcoin on Binance.
That's a not doing an O2C. That's a
it has to be O2C.
But yeah, that could be an issue, but I don't think it'll be an issue long term. A bigger issue is the privacy coin you haven't been paying attention to, and that is Zcash, because it has pumped over 100% in the past 30 days. Now, where have you been? Where has this been in the news? where has anything been? There's been no coverage. It's been silently grinding up. We want to explore why that's potentially happening. And is this the start of a mini altcoin season, a mini privacy coin season? Or is this just an outlier which is running away? And is there still space to actually catch it? What do you guys think?
Bro, Bitcoin went up to 81, 82. People recycled or rotated rather some money into crypto alts. And when you look at the altcoins that have been doing pretty well, let me pull it up. Bro, you have Toncoin that's done over 100% over the last 7 days. We have Sky AI, you have Zcash. I think now they're at like plus 75%. Siren, Dash. There's like a long list of tokens that are doing reasonably well. Do I think it's enough to like trigger a alt season? Hell no, bro. Like Bitcoin dominance is still so high. Like it doesn't matter if Zcash went from, where was it? It doesn't matter if it went from like 800 mil to 900 mil, bro, or 980 mil, or even 1.2 billion. It doesn't really matter for Bitcoin dominance. Like Bitcoin is still leading the rally heavily. But yeah, I see some altcoins just doing well. When you look at something like Zcash, I think the big question that comes to people's mind is, one, why was I not tracking this? And you weren't tracking it because it's a privacy coin. And if you look at Monero's not done anywhere near as good as Zcash over the last couple weeks, which is probably a good symbol that Monero will probably also start doing well. But we all know why privacy coins pump, bro. Like, fair enough, we're in an alt-ish rally, but the real reason why privacy coins pump is because people scam and then they move the tokens into privacy coins and they do all sorts. And I think the reason why Monero is not getting as much love right now is because Monero has been delisted from more exchanges than Zcash. But I did a full breakdown for Zcash just before this, and yeah, bro, like in my opinion, like right now, well, not my opinion, based on all the indicators that this thing actually goes through, like it doesn't look mad overbought or oversold. It looks like it's like reasonably well holding all of this extra volume and the price increase. Not financial advice, but like, I mean, if you think it's too late, it's probably not. Like, I wouldn't say it's a safe bet based on the fact that scammers are moving money around. But yeah, man, I love to see a privacy coin do well. But 100% up in 30 days it's like one of like 10 coins that have just blown up over the last couple weeks. And when you don't have like strong news reasoning for why, then you just know like some Donnies in North Korea have decided we're going to use this to move some money around. And I'm looking right now to see if there's any crazy news. Not really. Apparently there's a shielded supply. I think there's some AI intervention in the, bro, there's nothing that should set the price off that crazy. What do you mean?
I mean, I think you hit a nail on the head, though. I think, first of all, I'm just going to clarify and answer the question directly. This will not trigger the next altcoin season. Or mini, mid, large, myth. And again, Rick hit the nail on the head. Look how high the Bitcoin dominance is. Look how much money. If you watch the inflows and outflows of ETF volume, it's all kind of heavily skewed towards BTC. And even that is nothing compared to when the first 6 months of ETF trading. So let's put that into perspective. And obviously, secondly, I mean, like Rick said, I mean, scammers got to move this money, and then the only way they move it is by buying some of the privacy token. And that's why there's such a huge, I guess, telescope on like this altcoins and the privacy altcoins. And I think one of the things that actually got ZDC, Zcash moving is because of they went some network upgrade. There's this Sapling upgrade and feature layer 2 called Bolt that will boost utility, and obviously, you know, recent investment from Multicoin Capital and Robinhood listing. I think those are probably what's driving this surge rather than altcoin seasons coming, strap up and get other ones. I think, and also I always said to you guys, I don't know if you guys remember this, I said it before. To me, when privacy token are taking turns to pump and not pumping together, that's not really a good sign for me that we should buy. It is actually an exit signal. I've said it before. You're laughing, Rick. I said it before. It's not good.
Well, why is it not good and why is it an exit signal?
No, I think if you like, I've been in this. This is my third cycle, and usually when privacy tokens are pumping, it doesn't mean yes, a buy signal. Let's go buy. It usually means paying incoming. That's what it usually means. You know what I mean? I'm not saying sell your Bitcoin bag. I'm not saying that. But if you have any altcoins, I would get rid of those if I were you. But yeah, that's what I'd say.
Yeah, I don't think it's the start of the next altcoin season, based on what Zcash is doing. But I do think that the privacy narrative is one that's been neglected by most of the mainstream, to be honest, because it's not shiny, it's not sexy. It's been around for 3-4 cycles, and it's not as explosive as other categories. But and also it's got the downside of being delisted by major exchanges due to pressure from governments. But the positive side is scams aren't going away from crypto, which means that privacy coins, there's a need for it. And that will always exist unless obviously things change in terms of enforcement and that sort of goes away. But I don't think that's happening anytime soon. So on a long-term play, I think that there is a lot of room left in terms of privacy coins. Now, would I invest in Zcash right now? I'm not too sure about that after something's just pumped 100%. But I think long-term, when it comes to Monero, Zcash, I think there's something there. So probably look for a better entry and have some exposure in your portfolio if it fits your investment thesis. But with that being said, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.